Thank you for joining us on the Bits and Bolts, the bi-monthly tech coffee break with your hosts, Stuart Clark and me, Armaan Sami. As always, Stuart is the African Territory Manager and I am the DACH and Netherlands Territory Manager. You can always contact us with the email addresses which are down here at the bottom if you are not already in contact. With that, we'll jump right into the topics for today. We have one very small topic, which I just quickly wanted to discuss because it's one that I know my partners have been asking for quite a while now, and especially because there seems to be a lot of other solutions out there having a similar approach. We wanted to give you an option to better be able to view different devices in groups, and I'll show you that in a moment. I also have a little excuse me, a little kind of a quick demo to show on the new Android remote support, some demos and some tips on how to troubleshoot and to get it working. Because I've had some people try it, but not necessarily get it working, or some things haven't worked as expected. And then finally, Stuart will try to show the blocked apps or services in the SureLock Diagnostic.
Deja vu for some of you, sorry.
Yeah, we thought we started like this though. So these first two new topics, if the last one is already known to you, stick around for those and you can drop off for the last one. We understand. With that, I'm going to hop over to my SureMDM console. At the first glance, it looks more or less the same. However, if you come down here to the left, we have a new icon. Can you see that? I'll make it a little bit bigger just so you can't miss it. But here we have the hide subgroups option. So right now, I'm just going to click it. So now it's going to be show subgroups. This is actually the default which you're going to see. And what this means is you have this button here which shows you all your devices, right? And this one, regardless of what folder or what subfolder they're in, you see all the devices which are in your MDM console. But let's say I only want to see the devices which are in the office location and then in the two sub-office locations. How do I do that? Before it was not possible. You could have to click over to this one, you'd see those two devices, and you click over to this one and you'd see that one device. You were always able to push new jobs and to check the group job status or history of all the devices in that subfolder and under, but you weren't able to see those devices. So now with this new button, if I click it, you're going to see that 3 new devices have now popped up on my list. These are the same 3 devices which are here in Office Hettlingen and Office Zoitzach locations. Now, because these folders do not have a subgroup, nothing additional is shown. However, coming back here, you now see these are the 3 devices, and if I turn it off, they disappear. So we wanted to give you a quick option or a way to turn this on and off. We had original thoughts about having it as an option within the account settings, but then thought we want to give users the ability to customize this as they want. Maybe a user who's been using SureMDM for quite a while is okay with it like this. However, users which maybe are new to the MDM, to SureMDM, and want a different user flow, you can still check that box and opt in to hide or to show subgroups. So very simple first option. I just wanted to kind of show that because I think it's something which has been asked for and requested quite often. It is finally live and you can use this right away. The second thing that I was going to discuss, so now we're moving away from that folder option. If there are any questions, put them into the chat and I'll hop back into it. But the next thing that I just wanted to quickly show and discuss a little bit about is the advanced Android remote support. We had done a video quite a while back about the Windows and Linux advanced remote support, and now it's finally live on Android. So 2 things that I want to quickly show and discuss. What's important is this is a server-side change. What I mean by that is if you are using SaaS cloud-hosted SureMDM, it's live on your system. If you are using on-premise SureMDM, this is still going to be an update that you will need to update your MDM system with. So only for cloud customers at the moment, it's already live. However, there is a agent version or a minimum agent version required for this feature. You should be using the 27.41.07 version. As you see here, this is 27.40. And if I come to this device and start a remote session, there we go. So in this device, I have already turned it on to the new remote support session. That's why we see up here, and I've zoomed in quite a bit just to make sure that everyone can see this on all the different devices. But you still have the option to default back into the old remote supports. Why is this still an option? There are some older devices which maybe don't have the best support or the best bandwidth to be using the newer version. And in those cases, using the older version of remote support is ideal. In fact, I'll just quickly try it again and show you since that is not loading. Perfect. This is the old version. You're going to notice there's nothing has changed here. We have the same buttons and actions. And then up here, you have to try the new next-gen remote support beta. Now, I haven't been in this remote session for long, but you do see the live ticker of how many megabytes is being updated. Just to kind of give a quick example, I'm going to pick up the device here in my hand. If I open it and scroll around, you can see that it's relatively on the same speed as what's going on the device. There might be a small lag, but it's not something which is huge. In most cases, it's acceptable. However, there might be some cases where you need to be a little bit faster or a little bit more responsive in seeing what's going on with the device. Maybe you're seeing logs or some activity like that. So in those cases, you can try the new next-gen remote support. Just really quick, keep in mind, we've done about 18 megabytes of data usage. I'm going to try to switch over to the next-gen now. There we go. And now you can just kind of watch the ticker come up. So a couple things here. For starters, of course, everything here looks more or less the same. There is a new option I'll talk about near the very end, but I just want to kind of show the remote support as it is here, because for instance, if I come over to Shorts and play a quick video for you all, you can kind of see that side by side, they are very, very close. So the amount of, let's say, responsiveness between what's happening real time on a device and what's happening on the MDM console has been further improved. So before we're taking quick screenshots, now it's really, really next step or next gen. And then what's also interesting to keep in mind is now we have not been on this remote session as much, but as a video is playing there in the background, you can still see that the megabytes have not become exorbitantly more. We're still under 3. The other one was 18. However, that session was open for a little bit longer. So just to consider this as well. Now, finally, the kind of the big feature, which it has been very interesting for some people. For other industries, maybe you don't see quite the use case for it, but we do have the option to start a call with the device. Now, what this will do is, and I'll show this to you in a moment, but this will initiate a call from the SureMDM console, from the view that you're seeing here, the remote support session, to the mobile device which you are remoted into. This is then two-way communication, and it's direct to device. It can also be done over Wi-Fi. For instance, although here in my hand I'm holding a phone, there is no cellular chip. I am only on the Wi-Fi connectivity. So I'm going to start the call. I might drop off from audio for a moment, but if so, Stuart, once this is done and you kind of see it, you can kind of give the explanation or take over for me, as this is the last thing I really wanted to show you. But we still have the video playing. I'm going to click on Start Call. And then we can see here, if my audio, there you go, it's still going on, is that this call is going on. Now, sadly, I won't accept it because then you will get a bad echo, but I do have the option to accept or reject the call from the device itself. Maybe you can see that there. And then I also have the option to cancel the call from the MDM console. Maybe I called the wrong device or whatnot. Now, what's also very interesting, when you start the call, of course, you get the ongoing call, but at the moment at the top, it does mention admin incoming voice call, 42 gears. So hopefully they are awaiting the call and you're not surprising them, but this is an option for you to quickly get into communication with the device and to hopefully troubleshoot or verbally explain something maybe as you're showing it, because the call can be in the background while you say, hey, look, you should click here or do this. Maybe there's some hardware keys that you need the person to press or something to scan that needs to be done. All of this you can now verbally communicate to somebody and tell them what to do next through this remote support session. Now, again, after that whole time and those attempted calls, we are only at 7.3 megabytes. So quite an improvement also on the amount of mobile data, or in this case, Wi-Fi data, which was consumed on this device. Sorry, something was kind of breaking up and not the best connectivity there, but in general, those were the topics I wanted to show you all today. The hide and show subgroups, as well as the ability to do the improved or enhanced remote support. Now, if remote support did not work on your device, please be sure to update it to version 2741.07, and then it should work. Again, if you remote into a device that does not have it, you will not have that option to switch into the newer version or remote support next gen. Great, I will just quickly check to see if there are any questions. Doesn't look to be any. If any come to mind, please share them and we'll get back to them at the end and answer them. But with that, Stuart, I will hand over to you.
Perfect. Thank you. I was, yeah, I've been, I've just in this last week been able to see a number of really good use cases of customers and partners of ours that have been using specifically that start call option and the remote call. It's been really helpful. Good. Well, as some of you may recall, this topic was one that I had intended covering last week, and I feel that it's one that comes up almost on a daily, or if not every second day basis for a number of my partners in my region, and so I wanted to do it again. I really wanted to be able to show you how to investigate and potentially unlock apps or services that have been blocked within the SureLock environment, and so that's what I'm going to share today. I think perhaps while I'm there, just to mention, and this was part of the reason why I was unable to show it last week, was that my service provider decided to block WebSocket connectivity, and I thought it might be good to mention for those of you who have ever had that scenario, that we have a communication data points page within our user guide that's hosted on our 42 Gears website, the documentation page. And you will see within this environment that we specifically give you the services that would be needed and the URLs, ports, and protocols that are required. And so using, I guess, SureMDM remote support as an example, you will see that you would need to have enabled either WebSocket or TLS in order to be able to do that. And so thankfully, I am now enabled to be able to do that again. A reminder again, exactly what I'm going to show you is available within our knowledge base. But let's have a quick look at what we see for the purposes of what I wanted to show. I've picked something really simple, and it's going to be the recent button on the device that I have available. And you will see, obviously, I'm within a SureLock kiosk environment. In this case, I've purposely not allowed the recent button, and the logic or the use case would be that a particular user in this scenario would have tried to use it. So let me click on it, and you would have noticed the toast message at the bottom explaining that SureLock has blocked that recent activity. In a case that this perhaps was a service that we obviously weren't aware of, The easiest way, at least in I think many of our opinion, in order to be able to get to the bottom of what this is to be able to go directly into your SureLock settings. So I'm going to use the device to access my settings. Let me add the very hard default password that is set up on this device at the moment, and then we're going to browse into SureLock settings. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Please, you will find that this view diagnostic log, which is enabled by default on devices, is right at the bottom, second from the bottom on this particular device or version of SureLock that I'm using. And View Diagnostic Log gives you a look at every single request, either allowed or denied, based on application or service that is used within your kiosk environment. And so what you will see is obviously the combination of the message of that recent activity being displayed and the fact that it was blocked. And again, I've seen this being used for biometric access and various other applications or services that potentially you weren't aware of needing to be allowed within a particular kiosk environment. The easy part, obviously we have the ability to be able to go and enable it directly from within this environment. So I can select to edit, I can allow this application or this particular service, and I can move directly back into my SureLock environment for further testing. In this case, again, because I've used just the recents button, it's obviously something nice and easy. I can click on recents and I can see that this is now allowed on my device. Remember that the change has now been made within the device or on the device level. And a reminder that from our SureMDM console, you have the ability to be able to synchronize that same SureLock configuration off the device by using this, what I refer to as dynamic SureLock button, just above or below the profiles. And this gives you the ability to be able to synchronize that configuration. And in most cases that I've been involved in or chatted partners through, they have, once the device is obviously synchronized the changes of the SureLock configuration, they've used this third icon that will be grayed out shortly once this is synchronized to save that particular configuration back into SureMDM as a job. And so that really completes the process. You'll see the option to be able to save as a job. I can now go and give this a new name, and we could we now have the particular service or application enabled within this particular SureLock job that we've resaved into our console, and can deploy that onto all other devices. So again, just a reminder, you would need to browse on your device into the SureLock settings. So let me jump into that again for you. SureLock settings, as I mentioned, View Diagnostic Log is enabled by default, but you would need to scroll all the way to the bottom of the SureLock settings option. View Diagnostic Log, and again, you will see absolutely every one of those services that has been called or either allowed or blocked, and the option to be able to edit it. And I don't know about you, Armaan, but this, as I said, it comes up, if not daily, every couple of days with a number of the customers and the partners that I interact with.
Yes, completely. I think as basic troubleshooting too, this is something that our team falls back on quite often. And you might notice that, this will be a common request, especially I'd say more and more with apps which are a little bit more complicated or use other background resources or applications. Maybe it's the camera app or something like that. We don't know always what happens, or let's say a new app update is pushed or being tested and you see some weird activity. Great tool.
In fact, your example of a camera was one that I had just this morning, where a partner of ours knew that the application was going to call the camera and had already granted that access, but didn't know about the additional things that the application was going to look for. So although they felt they were prepared, there was obviously more that needed to be allowed. And again, a reminder that our SureLock environment works in, I guess, the complete opposite way of some of the others. Absolutely everything is blocked other than what you allow. And so we would generally expect that you may be forced to or called on to enable some of the services and functions that are needed in a particular environment for a customer. So good. Let me jump onto the last couple of slides just to cover those. A reminder again, please, our Bits and Bolts channel within the 42 Gears YouTube channel is available. All of the previous episodes are there, and we've tried to name them in a way that we believe would make it easy for you to go and have a quick relook or a refresher of a particular function. Upcoming dates, obviously this is the last for the October episodes. We move on to the 5th of November as our next episode, and a reminder for those of you who have time changes that this will be at the new change. As Armaan said a little bit earlier, our email address is at the bottom of this slide that I'm showing at the moment, and a reminder that if you need to get in touch with Gabby or any of our partner marketing team, please to use the partner marketing email address. And our tech support is available to all of you and to your customers 24/7. Various methods of getting hold of them, but one would be the tech support at 42gears.com email address. Good. Well, thank you very much, and it's I guess been a more exciting one for me this time around. but glad that both of us are back and we're able to cover those topics that I think will be helpful. Do you see any questions having popped up, Armaan?
Just a warm thank you. Thank you very much.
Good. Super. Good. Well, if no further questions, then we'll leave it there. And again, thank you everybody to those of you who make this time and set aside your 2 weekly reminder for joining and going through some of these topics. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Super. Great. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.